Today we're speaking with Roger Tickner. Roger is the president of Tickner Safety and has held the CRSP certification since 1984. First question, Roger, is how did you end up in the health and safety profession?
I started in the chemical industry in 1976, and part of in labs. So I was a lab technician, and so part of our training was in safety because we were in the chemical industry, and if you make mistakes in the chemical industry, it can have catastrophic consequences. So I started there, and then in 1979, in 78, when they changed the legislation, the company I worked for, which is an international company, they sent me to start training in the act and the regulations that applied to the work. And so that's how I got started. And then in 1981, I joined CSAO, the Construction Safety Association of Ontario, and started my full-time career in workplace health and safety. So it was, and I've been doing it since 1981, which is, I don't know, math is 43 years or something of that nature.
What would you say is the most important thing you've learned in your career in OHS that you would like to share with people?
I think the most important thing that I've learned is the value of empowering people to be involved, because a lot of the times we've always, in decades ago, it was top down. So safety was always top down, health and safety. And the one thing that I've learned, and I've learned it through both experience and application, is that when you empower people and you give people the ability to govern and to take over their own safety, it can have just dramatic effects. And we've done it, with major projects and we've won awards for it. And it's just the idea that when you empower somebody, you basically you're creating a team. So rather than telling people what to do, you create a team, and you're asking people for their input and their ideas. And that's a very, very powerful tool. And the results are typically always, if it's done properly, because a lot of people use the term empowerment, but if it's done properly, I find that it works amazing, and I use it to this day.
What would be the best piece of advice that you could give to someone looking to enter the OHS profession?
Get your experience, get your education, there's all kinds of courses, like wonderful courses offered at universities and colleges now, and get your experience. Don't try to learn it all at once. A lot of people try to be everything to everyone, and I'm a big believer. One of my favorite sayings is stay in your lane. So learn what you're doing, learn it really well. So in my particular case, like occupational health and safety law, WSIB law, those are the things that I took to. That's why one of the reasons I became a paralegal. So learn what you want to be, what you want to endeavor or what you want to do in your career. Learn it really well, learn it better than the next guy, and try to stay in your lane. Don't try to be everything to everybody.
Casting back to 1984 or just before that, why did you decide to obtain your CRSP certification?
In 81, when I started at CSAO, most of the managers that I came into contact with were members of, at the time, it was called ACRSP. So they encouraged me to, because I really loved the profession right from the get-go. I loved doing what I was doing. And so they encouraged me. They said, you should get your CRSP. You should write. So I started in 81. And back in those days, you had to have 3 years of full-time experience. So once I got my 3 years in, and I, late 83, I think I wrote in late 83 in October. And so then I got my CRSP just simply because my peers and my mentors were saying to me, hey, look, you need to do this because you'd be a good safety professional.
What has that certification meant to you throughout your professional career, having the CRSP?
Well, it's meant everything to me. I mean, you can see behind me. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be running my own business for 35 years. I spent 9 years with the Construction Safety Association of Ontario. But it's given me the opportunity to be recognized as a safety professional. It's given me the opportunity for, companies and clients and people in the industry to recognize that we work to a higher standard, that we've got the experience, that we've got the educational background, and that we've put in the time necessary to become, a registrant, so that we've had the opportunity to show that we deserve to be called a professional. I spent most of the 90s working for the association. So I'm a former chair. I was on the executive for 6 years. I was on the board for 10 years. And we took the association from basically when I started with the association on the board, we were operating in the red, and then all of a sudden, we just turned it around. And that's just testimony to a lot of hard work that a lot of people, the board and everybody has done over the years. So it's a very strong, I think it's the platinum standard for designations. I think it's the platinum standard for our industry. And I'm very, I'm a cheerleader. So I'm proud to be part of BCRSP, and I'm proud to be a CRSP.
It's interesting too, because a lot of people have the same story about how they ended up getting their designation as you did back in '84. It's that same sort of theme comes up as supervisors and managers encouraging people to go for their designation. So it's interesting that that's always been a throughway to getting your designation.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody that's worked with me over the years since I started the business in '89, and I probably put at least a dozen or more people that have worked with me through the program. If you work with us, we pay for the program, we pay for the process, we pay for everything, just because we want to encourage everybody to apply and everybody to try and get their designation. And we encourage them to take courses and study courses and things like that. Because it's important, and it's an important designation, and it's an important distinction between all the other designations that exist.
You've had a long and storied career, and you're still going strong. What are your hopes and plans for the future?
I hope to keep doing what I'm doing until I can't do it anymore. So people keep saying to me, "When are you going to give it up?" And I keep saying, "Well, as long as my brain's working and as long as my mind's working," because it's interesting when you've been around for a while and you get to know the people that have had their designation and have been in this profession for decades. Typically, we love what we do. And so when you love what you do and you get up every morning, like I'm up every morning, 5:30 in the morning, I love what I do. And I love the people that I work with. I love the industry, and I'm blessed. So when you're blessed, I hope to be able to do this for as many years as I'm blessed for. So
thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today. We wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and best wishes to all my fellow safety professionals.